Welcome back to all the grades. I promised you guys a tutorial on how I achieved this bomb color, so stay tuned. Today we're using Abella bleaching powder and I mixed it with 40 volume developer. I like the Clairol brands and I like to get it to a creamy consistency, not too thick. If you're new to my channel, I always section out my hair. Like, and that's the best and biggest tip I could ever give you guys. Always section out your hair, especially when coloring. It just provides an easy, smooth coloring process, a beautiful color application, amazing saturation. It just helps a lot with everything. So now I'm doing face framing. So I section out two pieces in the front and the color will be the highest on these two pieces. And I use regular foil I get from Walmart. And I just rip it up into pieces, you know, how many of the pieces, however big I need it to be. And if you guys can see the angle of the brush that I'm going in vertical motions, especially towards the top, so I can get that feathered effect, that feathered look. And so that all the colors blend into each other because that's most important. You don't want blocky, blotchy colors. So I slowed it down right here so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. I go in up and down motions with the brush and I take my time just to make sure I don't have any harsh lines or anything like that. And then towards the bottom, I get a little more messy and carefree. And just make sure that each strand, every single strand, that the product is evenly saturated throughout the entire piece. So everything lightens at the same time, everything is the same color. And now I'm gonna fold up my foil. And if you guys didn't know, the foil actually holds in the heat from the lightener and it helps speed up the lightening process. Okay, so now I'm working on my first section in the back, and the back is gonna have the most dark hair, if that makes sense. So I always start at the bottom with the lightener and I work my way up. And I'm doing a balayage. So this whole technique is balayage, where you have like different variations of browns and blondes and dark roots coming into a blend. So I'm taking down my second section right now, and I told you guys I'm always working the brush in vertical motion, so up and down, so I have that blend. So just imagine if I have just like a blunt line with, you know, from blonde to dark. That's not gonna look good. So you have the brush in vertical motions and that creates that seamless blend. And with balayage, so some pieces will look like highlights. So balayage is basically like highlights into ombre. So if you guys could see how I'm moving the brush and how some pieces I'm going higher, some pieces I'm going lower. And then towards the ends, everything is saturated. I hope I'm making sense to you guys. That product is evenly saturated. And now I'm going to take my foil and wrap that hair up. So I told you guys, I'm working with three sections. I have the bottom, middle, and top. So I told you guys as I go up each section, I go higher and higher with the blonde. So the bottom, I told you guys the bottom piece has the most dark. The middle is about medium blonde. And now the top section is going to have the most blonde. So I'm going to go the highest with the blonde. I always start at the bottom and I work my way up in vertical motions, up and down, to create that highlight, to create that blend. And here's a quick tip for you all, especially working with your top section with the most highlights. You want to pull the hair kind of firmly, and make sure all the strands are kind of straight so you have a firm surface to work with. So none of the hairs are straying and getting caught in the brush. Everything is nice and seamless. And this will be the easiest way, most convenient way to create your highlights for your top section. And of course, take your time, don't rush. Lightening hair is a tedious process, especially because you have to do more than one lightening processing. Like if you're trying to get the right type of blonde, you probably have to lighten the hair twice and then you have to tone it. So that's the third process. And with this color, we did do three processing. So this is still just the first. But it's so much fun. Like, have fun with it, of course. Like, especially the reward you get after seeing your end result. You're like, wow, like, I did that. Like, yes, I bodied that. And everybody asking who did your hair and stuff. Like, come on, don't play with it. Do it right. All right. So now I'm just following the same steps throughout on my, I split each section into two. So this is the second half of my top section. Um, and I'm just making sure I bring my highlights up to the same length because you don't want, anything lopsided. Take your time, get the blend right. And it's literally the same exact process throughout the whole entire thing. And we're not done yet. So get ready for the second processing because I told you guys we did three processing. So get ready for the second. All right. So part two. If you're a beginner, this process is perfect for you. Like this video is for you. Now, I'm applying the lightener the same exact way we started out at the beginning. So we started with the bottom section in the beginning and we're going to start with the bottom section now. I'm taking my highlights a little higher than where I originally started out with. So that's going to create more dimension. So now I'm going from dark to like a honey blonde to like super blonde at the end. So now I'm creating dimension in a seamless blend. So you see why I said that it's like a highlight into an ombre. So now I have highlights at the top, ombre at the bottom, and all the colors just melt into each other. I'm literally teaching you guys professional techniques right now. Professional techniques, and you guys can do it like it's super easy. And this technique works on your wigs, your bundles, and definitely on your clients or on yourself. You make sure everything is evenly saturated and you wrap it back up in the foil. Now, moving on to the next section, and I literally repeat the same process. So I start at the bottom and I'm working my way up and I'm bringing my highlight a little higher up than where I last left off. Same process, you pull the hair taut so you can have a firmer surface to work with, and that makes it easier to do your highlights. And you move the brush in an up and down motion. You're literally repeating the same exact steps throughout the entire unit. And then you let this sit and process for 45 minutes. And then you tone with your favorite toner. So the rest of my video got deleted. And depending on what tone you want, if you want a more ashy tone, more golden, that determines what toner you use. And of course, if you would like to purchase a unit just like her, I sell them at handmecrowns.com, a part of the Spotlight collection. This is the Balayage crown. Literally one of my favorites. Like, look at this. Bomb. And I'm also going to start selling blank units. So many people ask if they can just buy units with no color, so they can color it on their own. So I'm going to do that for you all. I'll leave the link in the description below. And thank you guys so much for watching. You guys keep being great. Keep being popping. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what else you guys want me to bring to the channel.